I actually am a suicide attempt survivor because that's how bad my anxiety was because I just couldn't even stand being in my own body. So I've learned to make friends with anxiety because, for example, if I'm feeling anxious, I also use nature as a way to soothe my nervous system. So get in the ocean or sit by a tree or sit in the grass and just kind of be like, hey, why are you upset today? And kind of sit with that and go through discovery, because when you're in that heightened state of like urgency and it's scary and it's overwhelming, like you just really don't have the presence to process. The way mental health is treated versus physical health is insane to me. If I had a cough and went to the doctor, like they would take that very seriously. But if I
Absolutely.
went to the doctor and said I was depressed, like they would not take that seriously.
Hey everyone, welcome back, friends. Welcome to Notes to My Nervous System. I'm Erin, a mom, a therapist, and mind circuit app creator. A little app in your pocket to help calm that nervous system so you can show up as your best self. I am so glad you're here today. We are going to talk about ways to care for our nervous system and ourselves. And I'm joined by Angie Hawkins, an inner glow coach, an author, and someone who has some great tips and real life stories to share. Let's dive in and see what we can learn together.
Hi, Erin. Thank you for having me. I'm Angie Hawkins, the Inner Glow Coach, and my journey started. I'll start from the beginning. In childhood, I was basically, the best way to describe it, my parents were extremely emotionally unavailable. I developed a belief early on, because as an adult I understand what that means, but as a child I didn't have the tools to understand. So I developed a belief that I didn't deserve to be loved, which obviously is not true, but that's how I interpreted the situation.
Right. That's how you
And
internalized all of it.
yes, and as I'm sure you're aware, your beliefs dictate your behaviors, which dictate what you bring into your life. So, needless to say, I struggled for a very, very, very long time because I was a people pleaser. I was dependent on getting the external love and approval from other things outside of myself because I didn't believe I was inherently worthy without it. I was always the overachiever. I needed to have good grades in school. I always wanted to like climb the ladder at work. So, probably needless to say, I had very chronic anxiety for most of my life. And I was always in this hyper vigilant state because when you're seeking validation outside of yourself, you're reliant on the next hit. You don't know where it's coming from, and it's like this hamster wheel, and it's very exhausting, and your nervous system is always on edge, and then you kind of have these swings of depression because you can't maintain that hypervigilance all the time. So I would get like these, also like these very low states of like depression and exhaustion, and I hit a rock bottom in my, like, I was actually 40. I was almost going to say my late 30s. It was kind of my late 30s. But anyway, I actually am a suicide attempt survivor because that's how bad my anxiety was because I just couldn't even stand being in my own body. But the good thing that came out of it was I switched from this victim mentality of these things are happening to me and I don't have any agency over my life to, I think there's a better way to live. I'm not doing that now, but I want to figure out what it was and I actually taking accountability for my life. And
Mhm.
a huge, huge, huge part of that journey was learning how to regulate my nervous system because I would have this overwhelming anxiety, I didn't feel safe in my body feeling my feelings. So I would always
Mm,
try to like repress my feelings. I don't want to feel them. And that
right.
makes things a gazillion times worse.
Oh,
And I'm
yes,
very,
like fighting quicksand. It's
yes.
just
And I'm,
getting
yeah.
so.
So I'm very aware of that now. So yeah, but my whole philosophy now is I treat my nervous system like it's a baby if because your nervous system is there for a reason, right? Like if you're
Absolutely.
feeling a certain way, it's a warning signal, but sometimes the warning signal is just like the caveman version. So you have to actually go through the process of like, am
Mhm.
I really in danger? And like, process your feelings through that. But with a baby, if it's crying, you're like, Do you need food? Do you need your diaper changed? Do you
Right.
need a
You're
nap?
much more attentive and gentle and caring, right?
Yeah. So,
Oh,
so
I
yes.
love that. That's a really cool way to look at it. And it's a much more forgiving way versus where people will like attack anxiety or themselves.
Yeah, and I get that because again, when you feel like you're in danger, because that's the feeling you have, like this isn't safe,
Mhm.
I'm in danger, you go into that like reactive mode where you're not really thinking clearly. But and on top of treating my nervous system like a baby, I've also learned to make friends, like because I'm not without anxiety or without sadness. It's definitely not to the extent that it was before, but I still have feelings. It's not about not feeling your feelings. It's about feeling safe in your body while feeling your feelings. But I look at, and I don't even like to use the word negative emotions because I just look at them as a feelings. And
I
it's like,
try to avoid that too, but sometimes it's
yeah,
just difficult to describe them.
yeah. So thank you. Cause I'm like, I just hate using that term because it's just a feeling. Just like happiness is a feeling,
It's
so is
just giving
anxiety.
you information, but
Yeah. So
some of them just don't feel so good.
yeah, so I've learned to make friends with anxiety because, for example, if I'm feeling anxious, I also use nature as a way to soothe my nervous system. So I
Oh,
might
that's
go
great.
get in the ocean or sit by a tree or sit in the grass and just kind of be like, hey, why are you upset today? And kind of sit with that and go through discovery. Because when you're in that heightened state of like urgency and it's scary and it's overwhelming, like you just really don't have the presence to process why am I even
No,
feeling
your
this
your
way.
lid is flip and you can't get to that higher level thinking. Uh,
Yeah.
that's why I always get confused when people are like that stupid myth about it's a sign of weakness. Like anybody
Oh,
with anxiety, the amount of strength it takes and the courage to face what it is. I mean, you would never call somebody who's dealing with anxiety weak.
yeah. Just in general, and I could go off on a whole tangent in this, the way mental health is treated versus physical health is insane to me because I feel like
Agreed.
if, yeah, if I had a cough and went to the doctor, like they would take that very seriously. But if I
Absolutely.
went to the doctor and said I was depressed, like they would not take that seriously.
No, which is ridiculous. And it's still a biological reaction and it involves the brain and the body and everything. I don't know
Yeah.
why you would treat it separate.
Or even when I did have chronic anxiety, I did go to a doctor once and she was like, here's a pill. And I had just ended up abusing it and becoming addicted to it. So, which kind of led to my rock bottom.
I'm
But
so sorry.
yeah, thank you. But I really wish she would have been like, here are some tools to use in conjunction and then just use
Right.
these in emergencies.
Right. Like chemically, sometimes people you can't willpower chemicals. So if
Yeah.
you're born and your chemicals aren't where you need them to be, then you may need some chemical intervention. But there's nothing wrong with looking at all the different possibilities and
Yeah.
figuring out what works for you. And also sometimes what might work now, a couple of years down the road, when things change and we evolve, that might not work as well. So it'd be good to have other options in the back of the
Yeah.
brain.
No, I agree. And I don't really feel like it's looked at that way.
It's not, which is so ridiculous to me. I mean, we go
Yeah.
to the dentist for checkups. Why should mental health be any different?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I'm always comparing to the dentist, especially since their lobby, for whatever reason, is able to like charge whatever they want.
Also, I think that's a really good comparison because there are health things related to your teeth, but in my opinion, it's mostly vanity. Like, because it's like I brush my teeth every day. I use mouthwash, I floss. So when I go to the dentist, it's more just vanity because it's like I never have cavities. It's never like a health issue.
But for those who have chronic cavities,
That's
who have
true.
gingivitis, who are getting infections and they get into your blood system, that's life or death. And people don't realize how important taking care of your teeth actually is for your overall health, right?
Yeah,
So
maybe I
just
just
like
take it
with
for
mental
granted
health,
then.
you never know if you're going to be like what side you're going to be on of that bell curve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh well. One day everybody will come along and understand how important mental health is.
I hope so. I do feel like we are talking about it more.
I feel that way too, but I never know if that's just because I'm a therapist and I'm in mental health or if that's really true.
Yeah, it could just be perceived. I will say this, another thing I like, because I've always been like of the woo woo realm and not of
Mhm.
the science realm because I didn't really understand the science realm. But once I really started understanding nervous system regulation, and I think I understood it just because, it's based on feeling and it was something I could
Oh,
relate
yeah.
to. But the more I started, studying it and practicing it and teaching it to other people, I realized like science and woo woo are kind of the same things. We're just using different words because in woo woo, it's like
Mhm.
aligning to your soul and higher self. That's what regulating your nervous system is. And I've
Thank
also
you.
noticed like those two worlds are aligning more, which I really like because it used to be like it's either science or this, but
And it doesn't
it's,
have to be because the
yeah,
two interplay all the time. And half the time, science is proving the woo woo correct, just with
exactly.
different terms. So there's no reason why they should be against each other.
No, I totally agree. So I'm also happy to see that those worlds are aligning
I hope
more.
that continues because we really need to be like a combined force
Yeah,
because going after each other is not beneficial to anyone. And any way you heal is beneficial. So why judge it? Yeah, I've never understood that. If one version of healing works for you, awesome. Who am I to say?
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
that's why if some people resonate more with woo woo, I'll lean more into that. And if they resonate more with science, then I'll lean more into that. Because again, it's the same things, it's just different
It
words. It's
is.
like
It's
how you
just different.
process the information.
Yeah, it's like different languages, but it's the same meaning.
Exactly.
Now, explain interglow because I'm not familiar.
Oh, so I call it inner glow coaching because I basically, the best way to describe it is I used to hate myself. I had a lot of self destructive and self abandoning behaviors. And when I started doing the work, and a lot of that was because, again, I made friends with my anxiety because I used to like hate that part of myself and wanted
Which
it to go
takes
away.
a lot of courage and is not easy to do.
Thank you. It was very hard. But on the other side, I started to love myself. And it was just this feeling like I could literally feel the energy in my chest radiating out. And
Mhm.
people would tell me, "Oh, you're glowing." And so, what like this self
Oh,
love, it's not just a thing you feel within you, it's something that radiates to people outside of you. And on another level, again, to go woo woo, it's like you're either contributing to because there's a lot of fear and anger and all of that going on right now. So you're either contributing to that or you're contributing to raising the vibration of the universe. So when you're so full of that self-love and you're radiating it outside of yourself, you're contributing to the positive energy in the world. So it's just this whole like your inner glow is basically the sun and it's radiating outward.
I love that. It also attracts like healthy, good individuals too, right? Especially if they
Oh,
can recognize it.
absolutely. And I tell my clients this all the time. And it's different when I'm like pitching on a sales call versus talking to someone who like understands this because I'm telling you, like I used to attract a ton of bullshit and chaos, but it was because of the vibration I was in. And I was like, when you love yourself and respect yourself and have boundaries, you are just attracting a total different experience into your life. Like not only people, but jobs, everything. Like it affects your entire life.
Oh, it does. I specialize in trauma and EMDR. And I love it because it works with the entire body. And also it's like I tell people it's like they have a bug light on when they've gone through trauma. So they have that nasty bug light and it's attracting all the bugs to them, right? With like the
Yeah.
zapper. And so as you heal, the bug light gets lower. And so you're not attracting all the pests.
Yeah.
I like your version because then you turn on the next light, the
Oh,
sun,
yeah.
and you're attracting butterflies. So I'm totally gonna
I
integrate
like
that.
your metaphor though, because like you really are attracting flies.
You do when you feel awful about yourself and you have such a negative narrative of yourself, you attract such nasty bugs.
Yeah, and it goes back to like whether someone identifies with woo woo or not, because again, it's
I don't
based in
care,
science,
whatever.
like because it's energy. Whether someone is consciously aware that they're reading your energy or not, they're doing it. And that's what it's all based on.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's just the whole idea of treating your nervous system like a baby. I mean, a baby, if you're soothing it, patting it, showing up with this calm, soothing energy, the baby's going to read that and be calm, right? But if you show up
Yeah.
all anxious and anxiety out, well, guess what? The baby's not going to feel calm, right? I mean,
Yeah.
some of this is just like simple.
Yeah, but we're like not taught it. So
No, we're not. We're not even given the words.
I know. And it's like, and it is really simple, right? Like, I wish I would have known this a really
Oh,
long
I
time ago. I
I
wish I would have
know.
known it.
I wish I could have told my teenage self, like, if you
Yeah.
learn how to calm your nervous system, if you learn how to be grounded, you take some time to like do little micro resets, you will make healthier choices for yourself, right? It's not that
Yeah.
you're going to gain this wisdom or knowledge. It's just that you're in such a better place that you're better able to think about, ask questions, make decisions that are better for you. But
Yeah.
we
I
don't
truly
teach
think
it.
it would change lives. I know
Oh,
it would.
I agree. I created this app and I'm working on some curriculum now that I'm hoping to get into some schools. We'll see, but I just I don't know. I remember my teachers always telling me I would have to memorize the times table because I wouldn't have a calculator with me at all times. And I do.
I know.
So
I thought of that the other day. Yeah, they would always tell us that you can't use a calculator on the test because you won't just have a calculator in your pocket. And it's like, well,
I'm like,
now we do.
I do. And I can Google and I can look things up. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. We should know how to do basic math and whatnot. But there's this whole area of knowledge that we're not learning and we're not teaching the next generation. Just basic emotions and self regulation and conflict resolution, how to be an adult in the world so that you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
good. There is no reason we can't make room for these things.
No, I totally agree. So after my rock bottom, I invested in myself and hired a coach. And he
Oh, good
basically
for you.
taught
That's hard
me.
to do.
Yeah, because I was like, I need help and I'm gonna get help the right way. But he basically taught me, and he calls it, there's probably other terms for this, like being a functional adult.
Hmm,
And it seemed so ridiculous at the time because I was like, I don't even know how to be a functional adult. But on the other hand, how would I? Because I didn't have good role models. Nobody taught it to me. I was just learning how to survive the only way I knew.
right. It's the same idea with me with parenting. We just expect that when a person has a baby, suddenly their brain has a wealth of knowledge about being a parent.
Yeah,
And we all know that's not true, but we keep operating like it is. How unfair is that to each other?
right.
What is
See, I
wrong
don't
with
have kids,
taking a
so I never
parenting
thought about that.
class?
Right. Like I
Mhm.
should start I should start a functional adult class. Like
Oh,
these
I
are the
love
basics.
that. I like that functional adult class, but
And
it's
maybe
needed.
that would spawn into a parenting class.
Oh,
But
it
yeah,
could.
these are just
You
like
could do
very
both.
basic life skills.
Yes. Yes, we need those basic life skills so that we, again, are better able to make healthy decisions for ourselves. And when you lack knowledge in those areas, there's no way you can make a good decision because you just don't even know what you don't know.
Right. And while I feel like on some level, none of us really know what we're doing, there has to be a better way to share knowledge.
Yes. Yes. I love these podcasts because of that. I,
Yeah.
I I'm not comfortable videotaping myself. I do not find that fun at all. I don't want to hear myself talk, but I love the conversations and exploring all these different topics and areas of need that we need to have discussions about. So, if nothing else, at least right now, a lot of podcasts seem to be filling that void of
I
how do I
agree.
get information about these different things. But we
Yeah,
do need a better way to do it.
I know. Because not everybody's going to listen to the same podcast.
No. And not everybody has time to do podcasts. I
Yeah.
try and keep mine somewhat short because, as a mom who's always stuck in my car taxiing somebody, at least, I could get little moments to
Yeah.
listen.
I know it's hard to consume things these days,
It is because there's so much. And where do you start?
which also adds to because I find if I'm on social media or on my phone or like consuming things, that kind of adds to an overstimulated nervous system sometimes.
Absolutely. But to try and tell an individual to put their phone down and turn it off to calm their nervous system, they have such adverse reaction and it
Yeah.
increases their anxiety that they don't give themselves the time to notice it come back down and they
Yeah.
just go to the phone right away.
Yeah. That's also becoming, yeah, I could probably go on a whole another tangent on that one too.
Well, we love
It helps in a
tangents
lot
here.
of ways, but yeah, I truly think I don't know, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I think it's increasing ADHD because even in myself, I used to love to read, and now when I do have the time to sit down to read, I just don't have the attention span for it, and I never used to be like that.
It is I don't know if we could label it as ADHD or if it's just attention span. I don't know what like that difference
Yeah, it's
is.
like not necessarily like the clinical definition of
But I
ADHD, but
I
it's contributing
agree.
to symptoms.
It's your body and your brain and your nervous system isn't being forced to have to attend to something for a long period of time. And so it's not building that tolerance level, right? Instead, what
Yeah,
we're doing is decreasing, decreasing, decreasing so that we can't even sit in silence for 2 minutes,
yeah.
which is just awful because how do we interact and communicate and make connection with one another if we can't even take 5 minutes to read a little article for ourselves?
Yeah.
We certainly aren't going to be able to show up as our best selves in relationships if we can't even take a few minutes to interact. It impacts so much with that attention span and not knowing how to handle being uncomfortable, that being uncomfortable is okay.
Yeah, I love that because it is the uncomfortableness of sitting in silence.
Yeah,
But you
it
have to
is
feel safe doing
uncomfortable.
that. Yeah.
But it helps with you to be creative and innovative because you're stuck with your thoughts.
Yeah.
And it also helps to, like, for lack of a better term, train your nervous system that we can increase that window of tolerance, that we can be uncomfortable and that doesn't equate danger.
Right. Because that's just it. Like you're not in danger. You're not going to die. So why do we treat certain situations as if it were that intense?
Mm-hmm. We do. And then we're just reinforcing that it is that intense over and over again.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I used to live my life that way because again, like if you're always in that state of hypervigilance, everything
You're
does feel
stuck
like
in
an
it. You don't know
emergency. Yeah.
different.
So it's understandable, but it doesn't have to
Oh,
be that way.
absolutely. It's like the red pill or the blue pill for people who are older with the matrix. Like, you think the person's nutty, having them tell you no. Some people do sit and they're quiet and still and they don't have thoughts going every moment. And they're looking at you like, I don't think that's true. Right?
Yeah, because it seems so hard to believe.
It does. And you have no frame of reference.
Yeah.
But I always like to tell people, think of like puppies or kittens or toddlers. They are the happiest creatures on earth.
Mm.
They're not worried about the future, which is all anxiety. They don't care what they did 2 minutes ago, which is being stuck in the past depression.
Yeah.
They only care about the here and now, what they can feel, smell, touch, hear, whatever sense that they can have an experience with. And they're so much happier.
No, I totally agree because my coaching program is called Shine from the Inside, and it's based on the
Oh, I
concept
like
of
that.
we're born with a light inside of us. And if you look at kids, to your
Mm-hmm.
point, like they're running around, they're screaming, like they don't care what anyone
Nope.
thinks, and they're so happy. But then you move along life and your light just starts getting dimmed. And yeah, it's just about like getting back to that state of like a regulated nervous system, shining your light.
No, I think that's great. Um, how long have you been running your program?
Almost a year now.
Well, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, well, so I was working in corporate America and I had a very dysregulated nervous system from that. And I just started thinking more about it. And it just wasn't aligned with who I was. And I'm like, why? Because I was basically just forcing myself to conform to society's rules, which are basically just arbitrary rules that we all just blindly follow. So I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Why don't I do something that I actually love and enjoy?
It's funny how we convince ourselves as adults that we don't get to make the rules, even though we are the adults.
Yeah, because speaking of the Matrix, like, that was me breaking out of the Matrix, and I was like, "Why am I just blindly following everything?"
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's also part of my coaching philosophy, like, I make my own rules for life, like, you don't have to follow society's rules. That doesn't mean they're
No,
right just because everyone else is doing it.
no. And if you look back 100 years ago, what they considered right was just
Yeah,
horrendous.
or even 50 years ago, like like, no, I totally agree. Yeah, and stuff like that happens because people are just blindly following, like, "Oh, this is what everyone else is doing."
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, when my mother was a young woman, she couldn't have a credit card. She couldn't have
Yeah,
a bank account. She'd need a letter from her husband to approve her to work.
because I think it was still like that in the 70s, right? I don't know if it
Yeah, it
really
was
went away.
absolutely like that in the
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah, so that's wild.
Yeah, and that wasn't that long ago. I mean, for some
No.
people who are much younger than me, that feels a long time ago, but to me, it's not that long ago.
No, I
But
agree. I don't think it's that long ago.
I think it's healthy to look at the norms and question them and figure out, is there a healthier way? Right?
Yeah. Especially in these times, the world needs more independent thinkers because there are way too many people just be like, "Oh, this is the way it is." And I really saw it the most when I stepped away from corporate America because I feel like there's so many systems within the system that
Mhm.
just encourage that way of thinking. So it's hard to get outside of it, but once I broke out of it, I was like, "Oh, I see things a little bit differently now."
It's perspective. It's one of the reasons I think anything in mental health, coaching, therapy, social work, whatever it is, sometimes just getting that different perspective that you wouldn't have gotten any other way
Yeah.
is so valuable.
No, I totally agree. Just to like break you out of it and
Mhm. Or at least give you questions that you wouldn't have thought of on your own, right?
yeah, that's true because you don't know what you don't know, so you might not even know what to question.
No, because we are all stuck in the like eye of our own storms. And so we can only see so many feet in front of us. I tell people all the time, I may be a therapist, but I can't provide this for myself. I
Yeah.
need a third party looking on the outside down and telling me what they see from their perspective because I just don't have that perspective.
Yeah, because how many times have you been like ruminating in your own head and then you talk about it to someone else, not even necessarily a therapist, and then as soon as you start having a conversation with someone else, the light bulb goes off.
Yeah. The moment you put light on it and you get it out of your head, all of a sudden it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Again, that connection. And when you're stuck on your phone, you're not doing that.
Yeah,
Everything's
because
just
you're
stuck
just
in your
like
head.
in the loop. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause it's really no different than being stuck in your head. You're just stuck on a device in your hand.
It is. Now, don't get me wrong. You can certainly use your phone for good things. There's wonderful apps out there. There are people who get connected to people who wouldn't have because they're out in the middle of a rural area. Like, there's definitely positives to it. It's like anything we do as humans, when we go too extreme, it just never
Yeah,
goes well.
exactly. Because even TV can be abused and be like a numbing
Absolutely.
device. Yeah,
Yes. When you go extreme, we start to have problems.
yeah,
And anything that has you completely out of your senses, out of your body for long periods of time has never been shown to historically be good for humans.
right.
So I'm curious where the bubble's going to pop, though. You know?
Yeah, I am too, especially with AI booming.
Now, I love AI, the idea of it to help people so we don't have to work so hard. But so
Yeah.
far, I have not seen any company say, hey, AI is going to do this job. So you only have to do 32 hours a week.
Or do it well and very accurate so you don't have to double check what it's doing. Because even
Right.
because even some of the things I've tried to automate, like it's not perfect. So I'm always double checking. And it's kind of like it's not saving me time. So,
No, I like so I have a version of it that I use in my app to just create personalized positive affirmations.
oh,
And so
cool.
it's just a little piece, it's very specific and it's very like direction focused. So there's no wiggle room to go one way or another, right? And so I found it's useful for that. But for me personally, you know, I already have issues with spelling. I don't need something else that is not going to spell correct.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because it
So
still makes very human errors. And it's like,
it
I can do that
does.
too.
I know. Sometimes I'm just like, I find myself using it less for like responding to emails or anything like that, where it's my voice and I'm typing because
No, I
it just makes me too paranoid.
No, I agree because I used to use it, try to use it for emails, but it's like, to your point, this isn't even my voice.
Yeah, I don't
Or
like that.
I write a blog, which I write, but I wanted to write it for LinkedIn, which would be kind of a different format. So, like, I asked AI to rewrite it for me for LinkedIn, and it
But
like
it's still
totally took away my
yours.
voice. So I was
Yeah.
like, just give me the format and I'll put it in the format.
Well, for small things like that, like asking what's the format for this or what could I do
Yeah.
different, I have found that to be helpful. Other than that, not so much,
Agree, because if it could have, like, rewrote it for LinkedIn, that would have been nice, but I'm like, "This doesn't even sound like me."
which then isn't useful because you gave it the information in your voice, in your tone. And if it can't take and replicate that, then it's not helpful.
No, agree, because I have a published book, so I, like, copied and pasted a huge portion of my book, like, this and not even for this particular
Mhm.
task, but, like, initially, I'm like, "This is my voice," and it still didn't understand my voice, so it's like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, no, a lot of learning still has to come. I don't think we have to worry quite yet.
Agree. But no,
Um,
I agree with what you're saying, I think with anything, there's a balance, and it would be really nice if it could like take at least 10 hours off of my work week by automating things
yes,
accurately and efficiently.
yes. And people weren't like dinged for it. You know, employers were
Yeah.
like, it can take 10 hours away. And so I'm going to give you a 4-day work week instead. And I'm not going to take from you. And I just don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either. I mean, it would have to, the precision would have to be 100%. And I don't know when or if we'll ever even get there.
I don't know because humans are the ones who are controlling it and we're faulty. So
Yeah. So it's like this loop.
it is. But I really love your idea of the nervous system and treating it like a baby and that inner glow and that woo woo and science don't have to be against each other. Totally up my vibe.
Oh, cool.
Now, if you had to tell your younger self something, and I ask people this all the time and put them on the spot. Sorry. But what do you wish you could have told your teenage self, 20-year-old self that could have helped, or a tool that you wish you would have known how to use, or just some piece of advice that you'd like to share?
Yeah, for my teenage or 20 something, because that's when my chronic anxiety really started, I learned a trick just a few years ago. And you're probably aware of it because it's a scientific fact that when you're triggered, the stress response in your body, the physiological stress response in your body only lasts 90 seconds. The
Mhm.
reason why it lasts longer is because of the stories that you tell yourself in your head. So, to just in the moment, to feel safe in your body and get rid of the emotional intensity around it, all you have to do, and it's easier said than done, but you just get rid of the story and it's just temporarily because you do have to revisit and process all of
Mhm.
that. But get rid of the story and just focus on the physical sensations in your body. So for me, anxiety really presents itself in my chest. Like I feel like a really tight chest. So I'll just put a hand on my chest and then I put a hand on my stomach to ensure that I'm breathing. And I just focus on the sensations and I just keep repeating to myself, I'm safe in my body. I'm safe in my body. And sure enough, in 90 seconds, like the emotional intensity is gone because the feeling of not being safe in my body is gone. Because again, when you're like in that heightened state, it just feels unsafe. So when you bring all that intensity down, you can actually think clearly and figure things out and it doesn't feel all gross and you don't have to repress it and come up later and it's just that is one of the best tools that I've ever learned and I try to teach that to everybody I know, but I definitely wish I would have knew that as a teenager.
Well, thank you. I hope all our listeners heard that and will give that a try, because it truly is sometimes the very simple things we can do that
Yeah.
help us the most and the quickest. And really don't discount those things. If it's too complicated, you're not going to replicate it.
Yeah, especially in that like heightened moment.
Oh, no, you can't think rationally.
No.
Your thinking brain's gone.
Because sometimes it's even hard to like remember what to do for that exercise, but because there's only like one step, focus on your feelings. Well,
Well,
get rid
and
of the story
also,
and focus on
it
your feelings.
sounds like you have practiced it and modeled it for other people. So because you're doing it and showing people, the muscle memory will kick in too.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like for me, it is more automatic now. It is a hard practice to get into, but it's a gazillion percent worth it.
Again, we wouldn't throw like a dictionary at a 2-year-old and say, read. We would take it step by step.
Yeah.
This should be no different. We need to learn the tools and practice and practice and practice for, grounding, mindfulness, doing micro resets of your nervous system for it to all take. You have to practice.
Yeah. And
I
this
wish there
is
was a quick way, but
I
I haven't
know.
found it.
Same.
Well, this has been lovely. If somebody wants to learn more about you or get a hold of you for services, how do they find you?
My website is runninginslippers.com, which is also the name of my book. So there's
Running
information
in
about my book.
slippers?
Yes.
Oh, I love
And
that.
thank you. And there's also information about my coaching program. It's called Shine from the Inside. And I do offer a free 60-minute call. I am getting a lot busier. So I only offer 5 per month, but you can book that call on my website. But it's 60 full minutes because most
That's
of
a lot of
our
time.
it's a lot of time because most of our beliefs are rooted somewhere in our childhood. So we have enough time to figure all of that out. And then at the end, I can give you recommendations for going forward because my coaching program is not for everybody. So I know therapists, coach, and other
Mhm.
resources that I can refer people to, which is another reason why I love doing these podcasts because then I can get a network of people to refer others to. So the entire
Same.
goal of the call is to get you help because I know there's a ton of people who struggle with nervous system regulation, or like I said, I primarily work with women who are, chasing things outside of themselves, which is like a huge source of that hypervigilant, anxious
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah, well, wonderful. Thank you again. I appreciate you taking time to explain your practice, and I love the name of the book. I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll actually just give you a little blurb right now. Basically, it because I live in Hawaii and we call flip flop slippers. So it means running in flip
Oh,
flops. And the actual story about how the title came about is in the introduction of the book. So I won't give that away, but it's basically a metaphor because the book is a memoir that covers this like roller coaster 5 year period of my life. It's extremely vulnerable. And the reason I wrote it that way is because I feel like we tend to hide behind on social media, the filters and edits. And in real life, we put on our happy face and pretend everything's okay. So, this is a book about real life and the shitty things that happen to us. But running in slippers, it's a metaphor for life because running in flip flops, it could be fun, playful, and adventurous, but it could also be scary, dangerous, and painful. So,
oh,
that's
I
running in
love that.
slippers.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to my listeners to tuning in to Notes to My Nervous System. If this um, meant something to you, leave an awesome review. If it's a negative one, keep it to yourself. If you know of someone who this might speak to, please share it. And always, please be nice to your nervous system. That was
Oh, I
fun.
love that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love what you're doing. So,
We'll see what happens.
what is your app called?
Mind circuit, it's the mind and getting the circuits to work together.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
It's a green tree. It's free right now. I'm trying
Oh,
to
it is.
just help people.
Oh, cool. I'll check it out.
Thank you. I'm open to any feedback.
Okay.
If anything new comes up, another book or anything like that, please reach out and love to have you back.
Okay. Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.